Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalam ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah. We've arrived at day 5 in the month of Ramadan, 2018. Perhaps everyone is having a good fast, inshallah ta'ala. And we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yataqabbal minna, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us our fast, accept from us our standing, accept from us our dua, and all of the other ibadah that we perform during this month. We're going to continue with our Ramadan series of building resilience in the month of Ramadan, building resilience in the month of Ramadan through studying the supplications, the dua of the prophets and messengers mentioned in the Quran. Studying the dua of the prophets and messengers that are mentioned in the Quran. So we've arrived at dua number 5 today, alhamdulillah. And this will be the dua of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. Musa ibn Imran. So the previous supplications, I'm hoping that you guys that are following along, that you have had an opportunity to memorize the dua. How many of you guys have so far memorized all 4 dua that we've covered? Anybody? Has anybody memorized all 4 dua since we've started covering this, the dua of the prophets and messengers in the Quran? The first dua was what? The dua of Prophet Adam. Alhamdulillah. The dua of Prophet Adam alayhi salam. رَبَّنَا ظَلَمْنَا أَنفُسَنَا وَإِن لَمْ تَغْفِرْ لَنَا وَتَرْحَمْنَا لَنَكُنَّنَّ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. O my Lord, I have wronged my own self by committing sin, and if you don't forgive me and have mercy upon me, then I will be from amongst the losers. The second one was the dua of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, where Yusuf alayhi salam, he said, أنت ولي في الدنيا والآخرة توفني مسلما وألحقني بالصالحين. You are my wali, you are my guardian in this life as well as in the hereafter. Tawaffani musliman, take my soul as a Muslim. وَأَلْحِقْنِي بِالصَّالِحِينَ, and unite me amongst the righteous in the hereafter. And then thirdly was the dua of who? The dua of Prophet Ayyub alayhi salam. Prophet Ayyub, when he said, رَبِّ أَنِّي مَسَّنِيَ الدُّرْ وَأَنْتَ أَرْحَمُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. O my Lord, distress has seized me, and you are the most merciful of those who have mercy. And then last night was dua number 4, and that was the dua of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, where he said, رَبِّ جَعَلْنِي مُقِيمَ الصَّلَاةِ وَمِن ذُرِّيَّتِي رَبَّنَا وَتَقَبَّلْ دُعَاء. O my Lord, make me of those who establish the salat, regular prayer, and from amongst my children, Rabbana wa taqabbal dua, and O my Lord, accept from me my dua. All right? So that's 4 supplications that we have memorized so far. And we are adding these dua to our arsenal. We're building an arsenal. If the Prophet ﷺ said, "Ad-du'a silahul mu'min," dua is the weapon of the believer, then we need a stockpile of weapons. We need a stockpile of supplications that we add to our arsenal to protect us and defend us from the onslaught of shaitan. Believe it or not, many of the shayateen are chained up in Ramadan, but when Ramadan is over, they are unleashed back out into the world. Unleashed back out into the world. And if you do not have, if you do not have, need to put this on the charger. If you do not have, you don't have your arsenal, then what are you going to do? How are you going to defend yourself? So we need to, give me 1 second. So, once Ramadan is over, we have to understand that the shayateen are going to be released back out into the world. And we need to be able to defend ourselves against shaitan and his army. All right? Know your enemy. Know yourself and know your enemy. Okay, so today, inshallah, we are going to cover the dua of Prophet Musa, alayhi salam. And let me just give you a little backstory on Musa, if you are not familiar already with Prophet Musa. Let me give you some backstory on Prophet Musa, alayhi salam, if you are not already familiar with him. Okay. Prophet Musa, alayhi salam, his story is mentioned in the Quran more than any other prophet. Prophet Musa, alayhi salam, his story is mentioned in the Quran more than any other prophet. And along with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioning the story of Musa in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also gives us a glimpse into some of the struggles that Musa went through. All right, some of the personal struggles as well as some of the struggles that are related or connected to his mission as a prophet. All right, some of the personal struggles of Musa, let me give you some background because some of us may not be aware of some of the struggles of Musa alayhi salam. I want you guys to think for a second the time or the atmosphere, the climate in which Prophet Musa was born. Think about, the climate in which, let me just turn this way. You guys are going to have to bear with me for a second. Okay. Is that better? Is that better, or should I turn it this way? This thing's just not working with me right now. Okay, so Prophet Musa alayhi salam was born at a time where a time of turmoil, especially for males, for boys. And I want you guys to pay attention because a lot of that has a lot to do with what we're dealing with today. All right, there is an attack on boys. All right, there is an attack on boys. If you are not aware of it and you have sons, then you need to be aware. You need to be aware. This is not going to stay. No matter what I do, this thing is not going to stay. There is an attack on boys in the school system. Right? In the school system, there's an attack on boys. There's actually a book that was written, I'm forgetting the name of the author. She wrote a book called The War Against Boys. The War Against Boys. It's talking about how male children suffer, and this is more in particular African American male children, suffer in the school system. Suffer in the school system. All right, so Musa alayhi salam was born at a time of turmoil for boys. Fir'aun had set out on a mission to exterminate all of the male children of Bani Israel. All right? And in exterminating all of the male children of Bani Israel, you have to understand how natural selection works. Natural selection is the natural human ability to adapt to its environment for its own survival. All right? It is the human ability to adapt to the environment for its survival. So if a boy is born into an environment where there is an attack on male children, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala captured in the Quran, يَسْتَحْيُونَ نِسَاءَهُمْ that he was slaughtering the male children, وَيَسْتَحْيُونَ نِسَاءَهُم, and letting the females live. And that is similar to what is happening now. Women are being empowered on levels that they have never seen before. Make no mistake about that. And it's not that I don't have a problem with that. I speak on, empowering women. I want them to be empowered. I'm not inferior because of that. I don't feel inferior because a woman is empowered. That doesn't bother me. However, what we have to be aware of is the repercussions of that. The repercussions of women being empowered and how that affects their relationship with their male counterparts. And it does have an impact. It does have an impact. So while women, climb in the corporate ladder, while women, are, reveling in the fact that a lot of what is happening in society is turning towards benefiting them, you also have to think about the repercussions of that. All right. And so natural selection would dictate that Musa adopted a character that would solidify his survival. He's living in an environment, being born in an environment where male children are being slaughtered and exterminated. All right, so natural selection kicks in where the males of that society have to develop a type of hardship, a type of rigidity, a type of roughness, and what is deemed today as toxic masculinity, right, has to become, hyper masculine, to secure their survival. And you have to think about that happening now, this whole talk of toxic masculinity, and think about how males are now becoming masculine, because our masculinity is being attacked. We're being accused just for simply being men. And the mistake of one man is now being, broad brushed against all men. That one man makes a mistake and now all men have to deal with this label of toxic masculinity. And it's unfair. It's unfair. But you have to understand how natural selection is changing and having an impact on our society. All right? So Musa, alayhi salam, being born in an environment where male children were being slaughtered, natural selection would dictate that he develop a character that would solidify his own survival. One that would carry on with him well until his years of prophethood. Absolutely. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala captured several instances to give you an idea of Musa's behavior, of his character, the type of person that Musa was. He was very rough, very outspoken, very, hands-on, very audacious. That was Musa alayhi salam. Give you some examples in the Quran. Follow me as I walk you through Musa's personality, right? If we had to do, we had to psychoanalyze Musa's behavior and his personality, right? It's a lot like the personality of Umar bin al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَاسْتَغَاثَهُ الَّذِي مِنْ شِيعَتِهِ على الذي من عدوه فوكزه موسى فقضى عليه. In Surah Al-Qasas, Surah number 28, ayah 15 and 16, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about Musa when he killed the man, right? This is the first incident of Musa's masculinity, all right? This hyper masculinity as you see it unfolding in his time, right? We're talking about an environment where boys were being slaughtered. We're talking about an environment right now where men, especially African American men, are being effeminized. All right, we're being effeminized. We're told as black men this myth of the big black man, right? The big black scary man, right? And there's this myth that is surrounding us as black men that we have to somehow reduce ourselves to being docile and being non-threatening towards our white counterparts so that they don't feel threatened by us. So now we have to talk in a way that is very feminine. We have to dress and conduct ourselves in a way that is very feminine. Go to Starbucks. Any African American man that works at Starbucks, look at his behavior. Look at how he talks. And this is so that white people that come in there and buy coffee, they don't feel threatened by him, by the big black man. You understand? That is that myth. So we find ourselves constantly up against, all of these myths that challenge our masculinity as men. And believe it or not, if we talked about toxic masculinity in America, the biggest threat to any masculinity, to any environment here in America is the white male. White male rage. They need to psychoanalyze. I kid you not. They need to psychoanalyze white men and to understand white male rage. WMR. White male rage. Understand that. You're absolutely right. In the world, anywhere where a white man shows up, shows his face. This is not all white people. Don't label me as a racist. I'm just stating facts. The shooting that just went on in Texas, the shooting that went on in North Carolina, where Dylan Roof walks into a church, prays with the churchgoers, and then murders them in cold blood, right? And then you go into a school, you shoot up a school in Connecticut, you shoot up a school in this place, you shoot up a school, you shoot up a concert, all white males, right? But yet African American men were constantly targets where we now have to feminize ourselves so that white people don't feel threatened by us, right? White male rage, remember that. The sad thing about it, right, is that these white men will murder people in cold blood and then get caught by the police with the gun in their hand. Right? Trayvon Martin murdered in cold blood, had no gun. He had a pack of Skittles and a bottle of soda. Mike Brown murdered in cold blood in the middle of the street with nothing in his hands. Tamir Rice had a toy gun. And in less than 18 seconds for the police pulling up on the scene, Tamir Rice, 12 years old, was dead. 11 years old, murdered. He had a toy gun in his hand. These white men can go shoot up a movie theater, shoot up a mall, shoot up a school, and get caught with the gun in their hand. And we take them for Burger King, and then we take them to get fingerprinted down at the precinct. I'm just calling it as it is, man. Stop putting memes up, making the comparisons, man. Understand what you're dealing with. This is black male extermination. BME, black male in extermination. Make no mistake about that. Make no mistake about that. If you are too blind to see what is happening here, I feel sorry for you, honestly. We're constantly making memes about comparisons, why white men are what. You understand what you're dealing with. Know exactly why this is happening. Eric Gardner, you name it, the list goes on. The list goes on. White male rage. So, natural selection would dictate that Musa alayhi salam adopted a character that would solidify. Musa murdered a man. He hit the man one time and killed him on the spot. فاستغاثه الذي من شيعته على الذي من عدوه فوكزه موسى فقضى عليه. Musa entered into the city and found one of the people from the Israelites fighting another one from Pharaoh's people. And so Musa jumped in, believing that the person was being oppressed. He punched the person one time and killed him. Punched him one time and killed him. All right? Just to show you Musa's character. All right? This wasn't like a pushover. Right? He punched the guy one time and killed him. And then Musa realized the next day that the guy that he was trying to help was actually the one that was in the wrong, and that he used him. He used Musa. And when Musa confronted him, he said to Musa, "Aturidu an taqtulani kama qatalta nafsan min ams?" Do you want to kill me just like you killed a man yesterday? You want to kill me? You want to do to me exactly what you did to the man yesterday? All right, and then let's take it a step further. When Musa fled Egypt, running to Midian, what we know today is Saudi Arabia, all right, or an area in Saudi Arabia today, modern day Saudi Arabia. When Musa fled to Midian, He saw the two daughters of Shu'aib. Some of the scholars, right? Some of the scholars, they debate on whether or not this was Prophet Shu'aib or just a man named Shu'aib. Nonetheless, whether the latter or the former, Musa alayhi salam, he found two women waiting patiently, right off to the side while men were there watering their flock. Here again, showing you that this was not toxic masculinity. What Musa alayhi salam had was natural selection. What natural selection dictated that he developed a type of personality that would protect and defend him as a man. Hold on. Yeah. So what Musa was dealing with was not toxic masculinity. As you can see, that there was a gentle side to Musa. There was a gentle side to him, right? As well as sometimes men who are hyper masculine, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's a negative thing. If a woman is being attacked, wouldn't she want a man to defend her and protect her? Wouldn't that hyper masculinity have its place? Wouldn't it have its place? If it's being used in the proper way to a man protecting his family, a man defending his family, right? Would that still be considered toxic masculinity, right? Or would it, or now it's normal masculinity because he's protecting his woman? Perhaps it's not toxic masculinity to begin with. Maybe it's just hyper masculine because of the environment that they live in. You understand? All right. So when Musa saw the two girls off to the side waiting to water their flocks, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala captured what happened. Allah said, وَلَمَّا وَرَدَ مَاءَ مَدْيَنَ وَجَدَ عَلَيْهِ أُمَّةً مِّنَ النَّاسِ يَسْقُونَ وَوَجَدَ مِن دُونِهِمْ امْرَأَتَيْنِ تَذُودَانِ قَالَ مَا خَطَبُكُمَا قَالَتَا لَا نَسْقِي حَتَّى يُصْدِرَ الرِّعَاءَ أَبُونَا شَيْخٌ كَبِيرٌ فَسَقَى لَهُمَا ثُمَّ تَوَلَّى إِلَى الظِّلِّ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala captured this incident. Musa, when he entered into the city of Midian, he saw a ummatan minan nas. He saw a group of men watering their flocks, giving their, camels, their goat, their sheep, giving them their horses something to drink. He said, وَوَجَدَ مِن دُونِهِمْ رَأَتَيْنِ تَذُودَانِ. And then he saw, standing off to the side, two women waiting to the side, waiting to water their flock. All right? And Musa went over to the women and he asked them, مَا خَطَبُكُمَا? Why are you guys standing here? What's wrong? And the women said, لَا نَسْقِي حَتَّى يَصْدُرَ الرِّعَاءَ. That we cannot water our flocks until the men are done. All right? The men go first. So we have to wait off to the side until, the men are done. And then we can go water our flocks. So Musa alayhi salam, what did he do? And they said, our father is an old man. Abuna shaykhun kabir. Our father is an old man. So we have to wait until the men are done. Musa alayhi salam, he took the reins of the animals that belonged to the girls, and he walked right over to the well, and he brodied his way in, if I could use that term, and he allowed the camels, the animals of the women to get their drink. He did it for them. Toxic masculinity? No, I think not. I think not. Regular, just masculinity? Yes, that's what a man is supposed to do. That's what a man is supposed to do. All right? So him punching someone and killing them, and then the same masculine energy turn around, see two women being, put off to the side until the men finish watering their flocks, and him taking those reins and giving those animals something to drink. It's the same masculinity. It's just one is being used in one place and one is being used in another place. When Musa alayhi salam was returning back to Egypt with his family, he married one of the girls and he began to return back to Egypt on command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or inspiration from Allah to return back to Egypt. And that's when he saw fire, right? What did Musa say to his family? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَقَالَ لِأَهْلِهِمْ إِمْكُثُوا. فقال لأهلهم كثوا إني آنست نارا لعلي آتيكم منها بقبس أو أجد على النار هدى. He said to his family, wait here. Kuthu, wait here. This is a man. He sees fire. He tells his family, wait here. Inni anastu naran. I sense fire. I sense fire. I sense danger. Toxic masculinity? I think not. Masculinity? Absolutely. That's what a man is supposed to do. I sense danger. Wait here. He said, لَعَلِّي آتِيكُم مِّنْهَا بِقَبَسٍ. Perhaps I can bring you some news, some information from the fire. أَوْ أَجِدُ عَلَى النَّارِ هُدًى. Or I can find some guidance by the fire. And of course, when he got to the fire, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called him, يَا Musa, إِنِّي أَنَا اللَّهُ فَاخْلَعْ نَعْلَيْكَ إِنَّكَ بِالْوَادِ الْمُقَدَّسِ طُوًى. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, O Musa, I am your Lord, remove your sandals, indeed you are in the sacred valley of Tuwa. So there was a gentleman-ish posture of Musa alayhi salam, which challenges this whole theory, right? That, and this comes from none other than feminists who would love to see black men. Feminists don't attack white men. Feminists don't say anything about white male rage. Feminists want to attack black men. Understand? Feminists say nothing about white male rage. When a white man shoots up a church, when a white man shoots up a movie theater, when a white man shoots up a concert, when a white man shoots up a school, feminists, crickets. You hear nothing. You hear nothing. But let a black football player, basketball player punch his wife in the face, or they get into a fight, or whatever the case may be. Oh, they're going to shut it down. MashaAllah. Shut it down. Shut it down. MashaAllah. So this whole idea of toxic masculinity that has men questioning the essence of their manhood, effeminizing themselves just so they can escape criticism. If me defending my family means that I am toxically masculine, then I accept that. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. If I don't agree with the lifestyle of a homosexual and I'm considered homophobic, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that because I don't agree with your lifestyle. I have to agree with your lifestyle. I have to agree with your lifestyle. No, I'm sorry. I don't agree. I don't support it. I don't agree with it. I have nothing to do with it. And I'm a homophobe because of that. Wallah al-Azim, I'll wear it on my forehead. Wallah al-Azim, I'll get a shirt with it labeled on there. If that's what being a homophobe means, that I don't agree with your lifestyle and I don't accept your lifestyle, I don't support your lifestyle, so I'm a homophobe as a result of that, Wallah al-Azim, I'll wear it on my forehead. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not going to sugarcoat that for anybody. You got people running around here sugarcoating this, so that they can keep their status in the eyes of the people because you're afraid to be labeled as a homophobe. You got imams, Muslim leaders who were staunch warners against homosexuality, and today, we should all live in peace and kumbaya and waving the white flag. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. I'm sorry, I'm not that person. I'm not that person. Not cut from that cloth, not born in that generation. So, even when Musa realized that Bani Israel had disobeyed his orders, right? When he realized that they burnt down the gold and they made a golden calf and they began to worship it while Musa was gone receiving revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when Musa returned, right? When he returned, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala captured Musa's anger, right? To showing you the man that he was, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَمَّا رَجَعَ مُوسَى إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ غَضْبَانَ أَسِفًا. And when Musa returned back to his people, he was angry and grieved. غَضْبَانَ أَسِفًا. Angry, upset, and grieved. قَالَ بِئْسَ مَا خَلَفْتُمُونِي مِنْ بَعْدِي. He said, how wretched is that which you have done after my departure. أَعْجِلْتُم مِّنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّكُمْ. Are you hastening the affair of your Lord? Are you so impatient? You couldn't wait for me to come back. I was gone for 40 days. You couldn't wait for me to come back. You had to burn down your gold and create this is what is called psychological warfare. They were psychologically traumatized. They were so in a habit of worshiping Fir'aun that in the absence of Fir'aun, even though they were freed from Fir'aun's bondage, they still had to turn around and find something to worship. They had to. They could not settle with the fact that they were freed from bondage, right? Similar to what, many African Americans although freed from the physical bondage, we're still psychologically slaves. Psychologically, still slave. You still a slave. Right? I tweeted to Kanye West when he put out his statement, his infamous statement that slavery was a choice. I tweeted to Kanye West and I said, slavery was not a choice. Being a slave is a choice. Slavery was not a choice. They didn't have a choice in that matter. Being a slave is a choice. Stop being a slave. Understand your facts. This whole idea that, slavery was a choice. If slavery went on for 400 years, you mean for 400 years you guys stayed in that situation? I wouldn't have stayed in that situation. No, slavery in its entirety as a system was not a choice. Individuals who chose to remain as a slave individually, that was a choice. To be a slave is a choice. Slavery was not a choice. Understand the difference. And we got some slaves walking around amongst us today, still wearing chains around their necks. All these rappers with these big gold chains, you grabbing your chain like this. I mean, haven't your forefathers lived in chains? Weren't you brought over here in chains? And you still wearing chains around your neck, still wearing chains around your wrist? You don't understand the subliminal messages that are being sent to you? You don't understand the psychological warfare that has been played on you for years? You don't understand that. So you're still walking around with chains around your neck. I don't care if it's gold or decked out in diamonds. I wouldn't care what it says. So it's important for us to understand, all of these, implications that we see going on in front of us, man. Brothers and sisters, stay woke. This is not a time to be asleep. Stay woke. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala captured Musa alayhi salam, his anger. He returned. فَلَمَّا رَجَعَ مُوسَى إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ غَضْبَانَ أَسِفًا. When Musa returned back to his people, غَضْبَانَ أَسِفًا, angry, grieved. قَالَ بِئْسَ مَا خَلَفْتُمُونِي مِنْ بَعْدِي. Evil and wretched is what you have done after my departure. أَعَجِلْتُم مِّنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّكُمْ. Have you hastened the affair of your Lord? Have you been so impatient you couldn't wait for your Lord to finish revealing what he needed to reveal to me? And then what happened with Musa? وَأَلْقَى الْأَلْوَاحَ وَأَخَذَ بِرَأْسِ أَخِيهِ يَجُرُّهُ إِلَيْهِ. He threw down the tablets. This is Musa alayhi salam. That masculinity kicking in. He threw down the tablets that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to him. وَأَلْقَى الْأَلْوَاحَ وَأَخَذَ بِرَأْسِ أَخِيهِ. And he grabbed his brother by his hair. يَجُرُّهُ إِلَيْهِ. And he dragged him to him. And he said to his brother, his brother said to him, Ya ibn ummi, la ta'khud bi lihyati wala bi ra'si. Don't grab me by my hair, don't grab me by my beard, O son of my mother. And he called Musa, O son of my mother, because he knew how Musa cared about his mother. He knew the relationship between Musa and his mother. So that was a key word, that was a trigger to help Musa de-escalate. Right? That was smart for Harun. He knew the relationship between Musa and his mother. And so he wanted Musa to de-escalate. So he called him, O son of my mother. He didn't say, O my brother. He said, O son of my mother. Mentioning the mother's name would hopefully bring Musa back to his senses. Right? And he said, إِنَّ الْقَوْمِ اسْتَضْعَفُونِي وَكَادُوا يَقْتُلُونَنِي فَلَا تُشْمِتْ بِيَ الْأَعْدَاءَ وَلَا تَجْعَلْنِي مَعَ الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. He said, O son of my mother, he said, indeed, the people, they rendered me weak. They overpowered me. I had no authority over them. وَكَادُوا يَقْتُلُونَنِي, and they almost killed me. فَلَا تُشْمِتْ بِيَ الْأَعْدَاءَ. So don't attack me and make me amongst those who are your enemies. I'm not your enemy. All right? I'm not the enemy here. وَلَا تَجْعَلْنِي مَعَ الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. And don't make me amongst those who are oppressive. But Musa alayhi salam got angry. He threw the tablets down and he grabbed his brother, showing you the type of character that Musa had alayhi salam, which is leading up to the dua that we're going to learn today. I want to give you some backstory on Musa so you understand how profound and how profound this dua is. How profound this dua is. If I just gave you the dua without giving you the backstory, you probably wouldn't understand the significance. If I just gave you the dua without giving you the backstory, you probably wouldn't understand the significance of it. Now that you have the backstory about the personality of Musa alayhi salam, when I give you the dua, it's going to make sense to you. Now it'll make sense. So, even when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Musa to go to Fir'aun, right? He commanded Musa to go to Fir'aun and say to him a kind word. He commanded Musa to go to Fir'aun and say to him a kind word. Right? With gentleness. To speak with Fir'aun with gentleness. And this was a task within itself. This was a task within itself because we're talking about Fir'aun. This was the most evil, tyrannical ruler of the earth during that time. He had an army, he had riches, he had wealth. And on top of that, he totally disregarded the presence or the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the man who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling Musa to go say something kind to him. Not to mention Musa's character as it was, right? Very forthright, very straightforward. And then on top of that, this was a man who Musa was raised in his home. This was a man who was responsible for slaughtering all of the males during that time. And now Allah is tasking me with going to him and saying to him a kind word. You want me to be nice to this person? That within itself is a task. You want me to say something nice to this person? You want me to be kind? Just think about you going to your worst enemy right now and you being tasked with saying something nice to them. Meaning Musa had to remove all of his personal feelings about Fir'aun and approach him in a manner that was given to him by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the essence of what it means to be a servant of God. That is what the essence of what it means to be a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You give up doing things the way that you want to do it, and you do it the way that your Lord commanded you to do it. You remove all of your personal feelings, right? Musa could not go to Fir'aun and say to Fir'aun a kind word knowing what he knew about him personally. He couldn't do it. He had to remove all of his personal feelings about Fir'aun and go to him and say to him a kind word as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructed him. That within itself was a task. Subhanallah. Right? We're tasked with this even dealing with family members, man. Sometimes you want to cut a person off completely. But in our religion, we're not allowed to do that. You can't do that. You can't. You can put some distance between yourself and the person. The person might be toxic. The person might not be healthy to be around. But at the same token, you can't cut the person off completely. Don't cut the wounds that bore you. Don't cut the ties of kinship. We can't do that. No matter how much we want to cut you off, I can't do that. No matter how much I would never want to talk to you again, my religion doesn't allow me to do that. And it's not about how I feel personally. It's about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from me. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Musa and Harun, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, اذهبا إلى فرعون إنه طغى. Go you and Harun to Fir'aun, إنه طغى. He has transgressed all boundaries. فقولا له قولا لينا لعله يتذكر أو يخشى. He said, and say to him a kind word. Speak to him gently. لعله يتذكر. Perhaps he may take heed, أو يخشى, or develop fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning the overall goal was above Musa's pay grade. This ain't about you. This is beyond you, Musa. This is about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his creature. Allah is just using you to establish the proof either for the person or against the person. Hujjatun laka aw hujjatun alayk. It's either going to be a proof against you or a proof for you. However, your personal feelings has nothing to do with it. This is between God and his creature. You are just the middleman. Right? When you're giving da'wah, when you're calling non-Muslims to Islam, it's between God and his creatures. You are just the middleman. You're just bringing the message. You're just the messenger boy. You're just the messenger delivering the message. How many ayahs Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, إِنَّمَا عَلَيْكَ الْبَلَاغُ وَعَلَيْنَا حِسَابٌ. It is your responsibility to convey the message. It's my responsibility to punish. That's not your job. Your job is not to hold people accountable. That's my job. Your job, al-balagh, is to convey the message. That's it. You are a messenger boy. It's between God and his creature. It's between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his creature. Has nothing to do with you. You are just the middleman. Right? You're just arranging the meeting. It's your job as a da'i to arrange the meeting between the servant and his creation. You understand? That's your job. Many times we go out, we give da'wah to people, calling them to Islam, and we start taking it personal. We get mad at a person because they don't want to accept Islam. We get mad at a person because they begin to challenge us with their own philosophies and their own ideas and their own worldviews. And we start to get upset and get personal. Don't get personal. It's not about you. You're just conveying a message from your Lord. That's not your job. Why are you taking it personal? Because the person doesn't want to become Muslim. Why are you taking it personal? That's not your job to take it personal. You're just the messenger. Arrange the meeting. That's it. Excuse me. Okay. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Musa to go to Fir'aun and say to him a kind word. Say to him, speak to him in a kind word, in a kind fashion. لَعَلَّهُ يَتَذَكَّرَ أَوْ يَخْشَى. And this is when Musa made the dua that we're going to cover today. Musa realized that in order for him to carry out the task that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala placed upon him, Musa alayhi salam, he realized that in order for him to carry out the task that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him, that would require, let me see, I can actually take this off now. Musa actually realized that in order for him to carry out the task that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala placed upon him, that is going to require some additional, some additional qualities from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he himself did not have the ability. So the dua that we're going to cover today is the result of Musa realizing the task that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala placed on him. Musa, he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, قَالَ رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي. 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 O my Lord, expand for me my chest, which is a metaphor for being tolerant. Make me tolerant. Expand for me my chest, وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي, and make my affair easy. Expand my chest and ease my task. Expand my chest and ease my task. Expand my chest and ease my task. رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي. If you want me to go to Fir'aun and say a kind word, you have to give me something additional, because I know this man. I was raised in his home. I am aware of the atrocities, of the tyranny, and all of the things that he is guilty of. I am aware of that. Impossible for me to go to him and say to him a kind word. Impossible. رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي. Oh my Lord, expand for me my chest. Meaning, make me tolerant of what I'm going to hear or what I'm going to see when I stand in front of this man Fir'aun. رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي, and make my affair easy. Make my task easy. This is a dua that, wallah al-azim, there's not a day that goes by, especially those of you who work around non-Muslims, who working around them sometimes can be extremely intolerable. Working for a boss, that becomes extremely intolerable. Working around co-workers, whether Muslim or non-Muslim, that becomes extremely intolerable. As you walk in the door to work, رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي. Oh my Lord, ease for me my task and expand for me my breast. Expand my chest. Make me tolerant of what I'm going to hear and see from these people today. Make my affair easy. This dua is found in Surah Al-Taha, Surah number 20, Ayat 25. Surah number 20, Ayat 25. When you go in and dealing with your ex-spouse, or you dealing with the mother of your children, or you dealing with the father of your children, رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي. Oh my Lord, expand for me my chest and ease my task. I don't want to talk, but I have to. I have to communicate. I have to co-parent with this person. رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي. Oh my Lord, expand for me my chest. Make me tolerant of what I'm going to hear and see. وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي. And make my task easy. Make my task easy. And the scholars of tafsir, they say when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when Prophet Musa alayhi salam said, رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي, oh Allah, expand my chest, it means he's asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to increase him in nur, increase him in light, increase him in iman, in faith, and increase him in hikmah, increase him in wisdom. حتى أتحمل الأذى بكل أنواعه القولي والفعلي, so that I can be tolerant, so I could tolerate all types of harm that I'm going to receive from this person, whether verbally or physically. رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي. You get pulled over by the police. You get pulled over by the police. رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي. Oh Allah, expand for me my chest. Make me tolerant of what this individual is about to say to me. Sometimes police officers can be beside themselves. Sometimes you're in the car with your family and they see that and they're being disrespectful to you. You got to learn how to be tolerant. At the end of the day, it's about you getting home to your family. You being stopped by the police is just a temporary obstacle in your pursuit of getting home to your family. Get home safely. Yes, sir. Here's my ID. Thank you, sir. Have a nice day. Enjoy your night and keep it moving. Keep it moving. No long drawn out conversations. These people are not your friends. They are not your friends. Make no mistake about that. When he walks up to your door, his hand is already on his hip. When he walks up to your window, his hand is already on his hip. He is not your friend. Make no mistake about that. That's not to say that all police officers are the same, but what I am saying is proceed with caution. They're proceeding with caution, and so should you. So should you. So, رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي. Oh Allah, expand for me my chest and ease my task. Make my task easy. Make it easy. Alright? Because none can make your affair easy but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's a dua that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us to say. I teach my students to say this before they take an exam or a test. To ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make things easy. Allahumma la sahla illa ma ja'altahu sahlan wa anta taj'alu al-hazana idha ma shitta sahla. Oh Allah, there's no ease except in what you have made easy, and you can make whatever you will easy. Allah can make anything easy for you. Allah can make anything easy for you. Ask Him to make it easy for you. رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي. Oh Allah, expand for me my chest and ease my task. This is our dua for today, inshallah ta'ala. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala, can you open the door for them? Wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallama taslima kathira wa akhiru da'wana an alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Got a few minutes before we break our fast, inshallah ta'ala. I don't know if anyone had any questions or comments. So now that you have the backstory on Prophet Musa alayhi salam, now you understand the significance of this dua. Why this dua is so significant. Jazakallahu khairan. Jazakallahu khairan for listening, and perhaps, we can learn this dua and take it with us. There's probably not a day that goes by that you're not going to need this dua. There's not a day that goes by that you are not going to need this dua. I kid you not. Ameen means, oh Allah, respond. That's what Ameen means. Ameen means, oh Allah, respond. Allahumma istajib. Oh Allah, respond. That's what Ameen means. So when we make dua and then we say Ameen, understand what Ameen means. It means, oh Allah, respond. That's what it means. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.